Welcome back to Orlando Matters. Somewhere in that picture, there's a golf course, and people are out right now enjoying themselves on a Saturday morning. That's where we should be. Joining me once again to talk about the future of golf here in Central Florida, Brendon Elliott with the Little Linksters Association for Junior Golf Development, and also John Hughes, a master PGA professional, right? Did I get that right?
Correct.
Master PGA professional. Okay, we talked about it just before the break. They estimate 150 golf courses are going to close every year for the next 10 years, and only 10 to 20 are going to open. Brendon, we'll start with you. What's the problem? Why are so many courses closing like this?
Well, obviously there's a slide in people playing golf, but kind of the ownership structures of particular golf courses is part of the problem, not being able to particularly manage those facilities correct for today's market. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems.
Well, the numbers you threw out just a second ago, number of rounds is up 3%.
Correct.
From year to year. Yet courses are closing, but they don't break it down. Okay, this many in Florida, this many in Alabama, this many elsewhere. Is the golf industry in Central Florida doing fine, you think?
It's holding its own. What I see traveling the state as an elected officer of the North Florida section is it's holding its own. It's actually thriving in a lot of places. I think what we've really identified over the years was this is an industry correction, just like any other industry goes through a correction.
Everybody was going to want a house on a golf course. Let's build a golf course in 2004.
Exactly, and we experienced the perfect storm with everything sort of hitting us. So this was inevitable that we're going to go through something like this. It's a simple economics 101, supply and demand. As the population of golfers aged, we're going to lose them. And we probably didn't do as good a job years ago identifying the up-and-comers, which we're now doing a better job of.
That's a great point. When we were younger, we would look at people who were golfing, and they seemed older. Now we're the old guys. Have you seen any numbers that say it hasn't really changed that much? It's still people who have time. Maybe their kids are getting out of the younger ages, and there's more time. Have you seen any numbers to validate that it really hasn't changed?
In ratio and perspective over time, those ratios have remained pretty much constant.
So we're the old guys now is the bottom line. We just haven't noticed the change. We've grown into it.
Right.
Is cost an issue? Because that's one of the things I see on a lot of the blogs. Well, it's just too expensive to join a club. And yeah, private country club membership is still expensive.
From that standpoint, I would say yes. But from the standpoint of cost in general for golf, I think it's a perception problem. Because golf really isn't that expensive when you compare it to other sports. I deal with a lot of youth, and you compare soccer, the cost of soccer or baseball or other things. Golf's not as expensive as some of these other things. And people, I just think it's a perception problem.
And to me, I think cost has actually gone down over the past few years because, I have an app on my phone that tells me when great deals are coming up. You play for 16, 20, 30 bucks. I don't know that you could have done that 10 or 15 years ago.
You can. I have a nephew that plays hockey, and my sister tells me about them buying ice time. It's incredible. Between that,
grass time is cheaper than ice time.
Absolutely. And this is very much a family-oriented game where you can get everybody out on that grass. It's hard to put everybody out on the ice or on the football field or the soccer pitch. It's more engaging, and everybody can do it.
Now let's talk about getting the family involved, because you have a great program. We've had you on numerous times to talk about the best swing, getting kids involved in golf, and it's impressive to see these young guys. How do you get more kids interested in playing golf but just interested? Because they're all going to play multiple sports. How do you get them engaged?
There's two things that I see is the way to get kids more engaged is one, hit them while they're young. Because when they're 3, 4, 5 years old, they're trying all different types of sports and activities. That's when you want to introduce golf. Not the traditional ages of 8, 9, 10 years old, because by that time they're already gone. And the other aspect is team. And the PGA of America, the USGA, they've done a really good job with PGA Junior League, and the numbers speak for itself on PGA Junior League. The number of kids coming out playing because their friends are playing and they're playing as a team.
Not only that, but if you're good early on, you're more likely to pick it up. I remember when I picked it up at age 12, 13, my swing was awful, and it took me a long time to enjoy it. And every golfer that I know says, I wish I would have picked it up earlier. Do you hear that, starting these guys young, where at least they know what the heck they're doing?
I hear it all the time, and there's a statistic, I don't know specifically out there, but if you start golf young enough, you'll play it your entire life.
And it's something, we did a discussion not too long ago about a sport you can play for life, because if you focus your time on football, and for most people at the age of 18, that sport is done for life for you. If you're really good, you make it into college.
Right.
Golf is one of the few that you can play the rest of your life.
Absolutely. I'm living proof of it. I played soccer at a young age to the highest level possible at that time in this country, and discovered golf by sheer accident, and it's now become a lifestyle. It's become a career. You touched on a key term to me me, and that's enjoy. I equate that to fun. I teach full time. I've yet to have anybody come to me and say, John, I play golf because it's not fun. It's got to be fun. And when we infuse more fun into the entire experience, whether it's greeting someone at the parking lot or greeting them when they're done with 18 holes or 9 holes or even 4 holes, and trying to compartmentalize that and have people realize this is a very enjoyable pastime for most people. And it is a lifetime game so long as you put it in perspective within the priorities of your life. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's hard to play baseball. Hard to find 18 friends who want to go out and play a baseball game. It's interesting you mentioned to play 4 holes. I had read in a magazine recently that some golf courses are doing this 4 hole, 6 hole, 9 hole, where you got an hour, come out and play. Was there a reason why you mentioned the 4 hole? Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. And the facilities that I deal with, we're actually trying to incorporate 3 and 4 hole rounds with networking and social for the adults and for kids. So the adults have something to do while the kids are out having some fun. You can take, I've heard some examples where in a lunchtime, if you have a 4-hole circuit, let's give you a sandwich, a drink, a golf cart, and have you go out and play 3 holes during your lunch hour. And it's been successful at different places around the country.
I don't know. I mean, you guys are golf purists like myself. I don't even like playing 9. I want to go play 18 if I have the time. Do you like the 3, 4, 5 hole idea?
I think it's brilliant, and for us as golf professionals, I think one of the things we struggle with sometimes is for us to get out and play.
Yeah.
So if I can grab 4 holes, 5 holes, that's good enough for me.
It's funny you say that. When I worked at the golf course, the last thing I wanted to do was spend another 3 or 4 hours at the course after I was off the clock. That's tough for you guys too.
And 3 or 4 hours, the real key here is it's an introduction. Just like we're introduced to any sport or any activity when we're young or old, there's always that introduction period. Shorter holes, shorter rounds allows that time for someone to really identify with the sport and have them understand what this sport does for them.
Got just a few seconds left. Sum it up. What do you think we should do? What's the future of golf?
I think for us as golf professionals, we need to have a paradigm shift. We need to make it more fun. We need to recognize what's going on in the industry and cater to the people that want to play the game.
And what about you?
I can't agree more. It's enthusiasm, it's fun, it's making it simple. We've tended to overteach it over the past few years, and we're sort of not dumbing it down so much as let's give them the essentials so they can go out and realize what kind of fun they can have.
Very quickly, got a website you want to plug in?
Absolutely, johnhughesgolf.com.
All right.
Teach out in the west side of the city.
All right. How about you?
Linksters.com and the golfacademyofamerica.edu.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time and expertise today.
Thanks.
We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.